Well, good morning, everybody. It's Bill Gilliland here, and we're here to talk about emergency business planning for local business owners and leaders. And I'm happy to we're going to go over about 11 things, but let's just be honest to get started here and say that a lot's happened in the last week. A lot of things are new, a lot of things are different, a lot of things are up. Some of you may have seen this presentation earlier. I've updated it a bit to take into account some of the new information that we have. My feeling is that last week we had a bit of panic and people didn't know what to do and where to go and that sort of thing. And this week we've got a little better idea of where things are going to end and where they're going to, at least where they're landing for now. But it's still a moving target. None of us have gone through this before. It's definitely still uncharted waters. So I appreciate all y'all being here. Appreciate you understanding what's going on here. We'll do some Q&A towards the end, but let's get through the presentation first. If you have something you want to do, you can pop it in the chat now. I won't be monitoring it through this thing, but much. I may stop and look at it, but go ahead and put it in there and we'll get started. So let's get through the 11 steps. So the step one is the point of power. The first thing we need to be understanding in this marketplace and what's going on in this particular environment is that now I'm going to be talking from a business and an economic standpoint of view. So I'm not going to be talking from the standpoint of view of the medical side of this thing. There are experts out there. In fact, I have a client who's a medical doctor in nursing facilities. So I get my medical information from him and from other sources. But I'm going to be talking about it from an economic standpoint of view and a business standpoint of view. So we all know people that live in blame and excuse and deny, and there's still actually people out here that are denying that this is actually a thing. But let me tell you, this is a thing. If you're in denial, we need to move up, at least make some excuses. But we need to move out of excuses and we need to move into the area of responsibility. The root of responsibility is able to respond. That's what it means. We're able to respond. So the first step in making any changes and dealing with this situation and moving forward in this situation and being positive about it is we've got to move from excuses, what we call below the point, what the yellow thing is the point, and where we're sort of powerless. Now, so I think it was Stephen Covey that said that had two areas. He had your area of influence and your area of concern. Now, your area of concern is stuff that we know about, so we know about the coronavirus. We know about the legislation. We know about, but we have no control over that. What we can control is our response to that regulation. So, we need to move out of powerless, out of our area of concern into our area of influence. What are the things we can control? We can control our time. We can control our technology. We can control some of the other things. So the first step in all of this is to move from excuses to responsibility. How are we going to respond to all this stuff? So, and how are we going to respond to everything that's coming our way? So the first thing I would tell you is let's move out of excuses and blame and let's move into some responsibility, because this is a thing. And we need to deal with it. Number two, as a leader in our community, John F. Kennedy said, hey, when there's a crisis, there's two ways to look at it. There's the danger and then there's the opportunity. And we need to look at both sides of these things. We need to lead. We need to be positive. We need to remain calm. We need to, that's the main thing. We got to remain calm. If you're in a highly emotional state, you may not be acting rationally, and we need to act rationally if we're going to solve this for each other and we're going to be together to help each other through this. As a leader, you've got to lead your people. You've got to be out in front of them. You've got to be taking the lead. You've got to be giving them direction. You may not know exactly. It's okay to be honest that you don't know this as well, that this is uncharted territory, nor has been, but there are a lot of similarities. For some of you that have been around a while, we had 1987, we had the Y2K, we had 2001 when the trade centers went down, and we had 2008. There's a lot of similarities economically between those things, but this is uncharted water. It's new, it's different. It happened a lot faster than 2008, but you've got to be leading your people, okay? we've got to look for small wins in this thing. We've got to find the wins where they are. We need to make small changes, and we need to look for small gains and small wins. So I would, celebrate those wins, celebrate when something good happens, but look for the small wins in this thing, because that's how we're going to get out of this thing, little by little by little. Understand what business that we're in or what you're in now, and then understand what it could be. Can we be in a different business? Can we pivot? A lot of the conversations I'm having with business owners now are, how do we pivot? One of my clients did a lot of business with restaurants. Now we're doing a lot of business with groceries. We pivoted a bit because the restaurant business is not buying as much right now. Sometimes less news is better. Look, we need to understand, you need to get reliable news. You need to be getting news from good news sources. You need to be filtering out the stuff that's junk. So right now, be careful, consume the news, but be careful about what you're consuming and make sure it's reliable and coming from great sources. So go to the source if you can. When the county issues a new thing, go to the county website and look and read the thing. Find out what's out there with the thing. And hey, look, whatever your plan was for 2020 is changed now. It's a different day, and you need to make a new 90-day plan. I've spent 4.5 hours yesterday with my clients on Zoom making a new 90-day plan, because that's what needs to be happening. All right, step 3, positive communication. As a leader, we've got to be focusing on what we can control and communicating people in the right direction. Obviously, I think most of you are doing this very well, but you've got to be communicating with your team. You've got to be the leader. I would suggest that you communicate with your team daily. I would suggest you communicate with all of your team. Some of you have reports that, have other people that report to them. How can you communicate with your team at least weekly? What's your schedule for your team? How are you going to do it? But be positive. It's okay to say you don't know what's going on, but here's what we're going to attempt. Here's what we're going to try. Here's what we're going to do. All right, it's time to start talking about the vision and the goals for when this is over. I think that, the race has been stopped, but, the pole car's out. What are you going to do to be ready when that pole car comes around after it does its laps? All right. We've got to have passion and enthusiasm. Look, last week, I was a little more like, how do we respond to this situation right now? This week, it's more about, how can we work our way through this, and then what's going to happen on the other end. I'm much more, I guess, having a little more knowledge of the situation might be helping. So, yeah, communication with your customers. Absolutely. I had a client ask me the other day, should I call my customers? What if they start, canceling their agreements with me and all that sort of thing? And I'm like, look, do what you have to do in this time. I mean, most people in this time are working through it. They're working out ways. They're working out ways to get paid or get paid later or helping out people. This is a time to build relationships with your customers, with your suppliers and stakeholders. Most of you've probably already done this, but if you've got to go out and be working with your suppliers and the stakeholders. You've got to be communicating with these people regularly. You've got to be communicating on a regular basis. Get on the phone with them, work out some deals. One of my clients needed some supplies, and we worked out a deal to go ahead and get it now, even though we couldn't pay for it yet. We work out a payment plan to get it. But we've got to be working through this with our suppliers. Now, there's going to be some supply chain interruptions. One of the things you want to have an honest discussion is, what's going on in your business? How's your business being affected? And then work out how that's going to affect you as a business owner. Okay. And by the way, some of you that don't have materials and you think you don't have suppliers, think about your service providers. Think about your IT person. Think about your accountant, your bank. How are they working through all this, right? And then we've got to be positive in the community. As business leaders, I think it's imperative that we work together to get through this and that we be positive in this community. Step 4, we need to understand that virtual is the new normal. I believe from a technology standpoint of view, we're going to be so much better after this is over with our technology because we're having to get good at it now. Now, I like to think, I was trained as an engineer. I like to think that I'm pretty good at technology. At the end of the day, I'm not. It's moved so fast beyond me. I'm good at one technology. I'm not good at a bunch of technologies, but I'm good at one. But when we start trying to couple these together, I was talking to my marketing guy the other day. He says, yeah, we can do this and we can get it through Zapier. And I'm like, hold on, you just need to make that happen. Okay. But I'm going to start having to learn this stuff. And so are you. Some of you are going to get it faster. Some of you aren't. You know, if you're in the technology field right now, what a great time to be offering your services to help people get through this thing. All right. So the truth is that studies have shown that working from home, actually, people worry that, okay, they're not going to do the work. A lot of them are more productive. A lot of them get more done. A lot of them actually work more. Okay. This is a win for everybody if we can start, if you have the ability in some of your jobs to take them home. I think most of you have probably already done some of that. But we've got to learn and use the cool technology. I mean, this is one of them. Okay. Human management. Now, this is the key. Just because they're in a different location doesn't, maybe from where they used to be, or from you, if you're a smaller business and you have people in your offices and you can't walk in there and talk to them, you've still got to manage them, and you still got to understand that these people are humans. Okay. They're scared. Okay. That's one of the reasons we have to talk to people. Our employees are scared. They don't know what's going on. They're looking for a positive influence. That's why we've got to lead them through this. So we've got to manage these people. We've got to set expectations. We've got to be clear on what our policies are. Okay. What's going on with our meeting? What's our meeting rhythm? Okay. When are they supposed to work? What are they supposed to do? How are we going to reporting? See, a lot of us don't have systems for off-site people reporting. How are they going to report to us? I believe that they should be reporting daily. Okay. On what, you know, if nothing else, a little quick sentence that says, hey, this is what I was supposed to do. This is what I did. This is what I ended up doing. Okay. That's one thing. You know, planning. How are you going to do planning with them? I think you should have weekly planning sessions with your people. Okay. If you have people that work with you or something, you should be doing it yourself. If you're a solo entrepreneur, you should be planning what you're going to do, and you should have metrics. There should be tons of, there should be ways to measure what's going on. Sometimes that's, did you just get the job done or did you not get the job done? So once again, if you have questions, save them or put them in the chat, and I'll come back and look at them a little bit later. Just put them in as we go, and I'll look to get them if something occurs to you. I would love to see them. But planning, metrics, so policies, meetings, reporting, planning, metrics, all of those things have to be in place. You have to have systems that handle that from a remote standpoint of view. You know, one of my insurance clients sent home pretty much everybody who could go home. There were a couple of people who wanted to keep coming in the offices. I think, you know, insurance is probably going to exempted, but because it's financial. But look, at the end of the day, we're going to have to work this out. So get on it, make your policies now, figure out how are you going to do it, make your systems in place, and people will get used to it. It's going to make, I think some of you have been a little bit lax in your reporting and metrics anyway. This is a good time to take them up. Customer service. We've got to give customer service. A lot of it's going to be virtual. We're not, you know, can't get in 6 feet of anybody. So get on the phone, find out what's going on, make sure you got people that can handle the customer service, that are doing what they say. They have the scripting in place to be able to handle. They know how to route, like the insurance company that I had. How do you route calls? We got people all over the place, and, you know, 15, 20 different locations. We're routing calls to different people. Okay. Communication. How are you going to communicate? Is it going to be Zoom? Is it going to be phone? Is it going to, hey, you know, is it going to be Slack or some communication app that you have? So we've got to have a plan for that. You've got to make that work now. And that's going to be critical to understand working in a virtual environment. Get good at it, and get good at it now. Hey, this thing could be over in a month, or it could be over in 3 months, or some of the longest things I've seen are many months. So, you know, I'm saying plan for the worst, hope for the best, but, you know, be ready to go. You know, be ready to get this in place and be ready to operate like that. We're good. We're resourceful. as business leaders, we need to be resourceful, and we need to be helping people be resourceful. So we'll get through this together. Cash flow management, obviously very important. Understand that cash is king right now. We've got to have access to cash. So if you have cash, you want to make sure you get access to it. We've got to get some control of your costs. We need to be looking at things. Maybe you have some things that you can put off. Maybe you can, maybe there's some things that are recurring that you never use, like some software package that you invested in wasn't any big deal because it was $100 a month, but now, hey, $100 might be something big. Where can you look to save costs? Get with your banker and find out what's going on. Hopefully there's some bankers on here hearing this. Get with your banker and find out what's going on. If you can extend your credit lines, I would suggest that you do that. Maybe even credit cards. The SBA, every state's been declared an emergency area, which means you can go directly to the SBA. One of our other businesses that's been affected, I'm going to have to look at, I'm going to look into that this weekend. Several of my clients are already in the application. One of them's already applied. So if you've been looking at this, you can apply directly as long as it's not over $2 million, is my understanding, directly with the SBA. This new thing that's likely to come out, we'll see when it actually hits us. They're talking about keep making it available to people. That's likely going to come through the SBA division in your bank. So talk to your banker about what's going on with them and how they can help, but get with them quickly. Communicate with them. They're out there. Banking is considered an essential service. They're in business. Suppliers and partners. Absolutely be working with your suppliers. Like I said, can you work a deal? This is a great time to renegotiate your suppliers. Renegotiate your suppliers and see if you can work a deal. And it might be that the deal is not about price. The deal might be about how you pay them and when you pay them. It might be about terms. Okay. If you have business partners in there, you may want to look at how that, but you want to make sure that you have, are there things that you can postpone paying or postpone doing, like a project that you had in mind that, hey, based on the current situation, maybe we need to put that off into the fourth quarter of this year or next year rather than doing it now. So look at that from a cash flow standpoint of view. Some of you need to change your cost structures entirely. And so we need to look at your whole model a bit. And I'll get to that a little bit later, but we need to look at your cost structures and see, is there ways that you can change your cost structures? All right, step 6. People are very important. Get the most. We want to be compassionate through this thing. Get the most from your people. Listen, Lee Iacocca says, hey, start with good people, lay out the rules, communicate with your employees, motivate them, reward them, do these things effectively, you'll be missed. I think most people, the biggest agony that most people are having through this thing, I think they're having a bit of a financial panic, some of them, but a lot of them are like, I don't want to lay off these people. And, sometimes we just have to. Look, this is not what we want to do. We want to move our people. Most of us have kind of figured out what that new normal is around people, how many we need, what we need, all that sort of thing. We want to move from a fear to a focus. So as a leader, we want to get our people focused, because we need to get them, because out of fear, what happens? I mean, there's three ways we can have. We can have, you can, what happens when there's a problem? There's either fight, flight, or freeze. Okay. And freeze is the one that gets you killed. If you're an animal trying in the wild and you freeze, that's where, under fear, that's where you get killed. So we're not looking for, we don't want to freeze. We don't want to be fear right now. We want to move to focusing on how we can move this thing forward. So we need to move people out of that frozen state and into focus. All right. New standards. Okay. Things have changed. There's going to be new standards. What do we need to set up differently? We talked about metrics. What do they need to be? How's our standard of operating business? Is it going to be, from home? How's that look? What time are they going to be in business? All that thing. Remember to be a leader. We need to move people. Some people we're just going to have to move from cost centers to profit centers. So maybe some people need to be reassigned to jobs where they can begin to help us make a profit. An example of that would be a restaurant who took someone who was really an employee and made them a delivery driver. They became a profit center. Okay. Train, retrain, train, retrain, train, retrain. Now, we had a great conversation yesterday with my clients about how to train and how maybe you could do this with technology. Well, one of my clients has a new employee coming on that was hired before this started, had resigned her job, and now is getting started a few weeks later. Usually they would sit with someone to be trained. Now, how do we do that? How do we share screens? How do we, get on a call? How does she, shadow an employee, for example, and how they do their work? So train and retrain. This is going to be awesome. There's going to be some great training and retraining material. All right, next in command. What happens when someone can't be there, or something happens, or the technology doesn't work for a little while, or maybe someone gets sick? Who's next up? I tell you, for a lot of you, who's next up is the person above it, above the person in command. You don't have a clear organizational chart, and you don't have clear next in command rules. All right, we need to know if someone can't do their job, who's going to step up and who's going to do it. And obviously, we want to keep as many employees as we can. I'm really looking forward to this government thing to see, how it can help us keep more employees. And I'm looking at that for one of our businesses as well. Our services are going to be down. We're not going to need as many right now, but I want to keep them. They're all great employees. So, and I know many of you feel the same way. All right, your marketing must shift. It's got to shift. All right, number one, we've got to keep marketing. Okay, as businesses, we want to continue to market. Now, the tone has got to be different. The message has to be different. We can't, it's got to be compassionate. Okay, this has got to be sensitive to what's actually going on in the marketplace. Yes, there is an urgency in this. We do need to be urgent, but we need to be doing more marketing, not less. Okay, so if any of you marketing people are out there, if you're not doing more, then let's get this message out to our clients. Let them know that they should be doing more right now. Even if they can't pay you yet, I think part of this deal is how do we delay some things? Maybe they can't pay you till later, but I think, as good service, I think you should be doing, and it's got to be virtual and viral right now. Okay, it's got to be virtual and viral, so it's got to be out. So maybe you need to get into doing these things. Maybe you need to do some webinar, Facebook Live. Get on the live things. Get on the phone. Make it virtual. Make it something that's content related, so that it could go viral, that it could help people. I mean, hopefully you guys are going to take this and share it with everybody you know. I mean, this is what we need to do. It needs to be viral, okay? And it needs to be virtual right now, obviously, with the technology. And when it comes to marketing, you still have to know your numbers. You still have to know. A lot of you don't know this. You need what we call the 5 ways. You need to know your leads. You need to know you're not going to convert all your leads. You need to know your conversion rate, okay? You're going to need to know what your average ticket is. You're going to need to know what your repeat business, or what we call number of transactions in a given time period, usually a year, and you need to know your margins. So you're going to need to know those, and then you're going to need to look at how you can improve those things. As business people out there, we're going to need to know our numbers. Okay, if you don't know your numbers, go find out now, and that'll be one of your pieces of home fun from this. All right, step 8, sell with compassion. A lot of people are like, look, I can't sell in this marketplace. Well, it's a different selling. We've got to sell with compassion. Okay, it doesn't mean, if we've got a way to help somebody through this thing, shouldn't we offer that to them? We don't have to. It may be a totally different. Maybe you got something that you used to charge for that you can do for free. I'm doing a lot of that right now. I'm doing a lot of free coaching sessions right now because, hey, people need it. I know it's going to pay off in the long run. It's got to be customer focused. It's about them. It can't be about you. It never should have been about you anyway, but it's got to be customer focused. We've got to still be selling out there. We can't, and marketing. We've got to do more of it. Okay. Prospecting is not dead. People think, well, how could I possibly prospect in this thing? Get on the phones, take a different tone. Go with the idea. I've been calling all my clients, all my past clients, all my prospects. And I'm a resource. So I'm a resource to the community. I'm out here. I'm telling you that now. I'm a resource. Call me, email me, text me. I'll give you my phone numbers and email stuff a little later. I'm a resource. I will walk you through whatever it is you're going through. I will help you through whatever it is. To me, that's prospecting. They may not buy right now. They may never buy from me, but at least I'm helping. And then some of them will come along later and be clients at some point. Whatever you've got to offer, offer it. But remember, we've got to stamp it up. If we're going to get through this, we're going to have to go through it. We're going to have to do more, and we're going to have to do it and we're going to have to do it all the time. So more hours, more time. All right. This is the time to build relationships. This is the time to help people out. This is the time to build relationships. You know, relationships are what bring customers. You build the relationship, customers will come. Customers eventually will pay you money, and eventually it'll be good for everybody. Okay, but relationships right now is the key. Build relationships in your marketing. Build relationships in your selling. All right. We got to take care of our existing customers. They're our best ones. We got to do what we can to keep them at all costs. All right. If you're just sending out emails, I think it's great that you're sending out emails and you're communicating. Add getting on the phone. Call your customers now. Call your past customers. Call your whoever it is. Get on the phone now. I can't say it enough. Get on the phone and call them. Skype them, Zoom them, however you can talk to them in person. Find out what they're up to, what is going on in their head. They're scared too. They don't know what's going on. Offer to be a resource, okay? Find out what's going on go above and beyond with your thing. Find out what's going on with them. I just made a couple calls this morning. What's going on with them and how you can help them. I mean, that is it, how you can be of service. It's all about, we need to be of service right now, okay? Whatever it takes, we need to be of service. Above and beyond. All right, build loyalties, C&Es. That's called a critical non-essential. So that's something that it's not essential to doing anything. It might be like a gift or something. If you have something that you could send somebody, or a card or something that, hey, I'm thinking about you. It's not essential to doing business or creating a relationship, but it is critical if you're ever gonna grow that relationship. So think about what critical non-essentials that you could be doing right now. How many cards have you sent? How many phone calls have you reached? How many gifts have you sent? How many things have you helped? How many people have you connected that could help each other? Remember, it's got to be virtual, okay? And you need to be visible. As a leader, you need to be visible in this thing with your customers, okay? It can't be just somebody else out there. It's got to be you. Also, keep in mind that 20% of your business, 20% of your customers bring you 80% of your thing. Make sure you take care of those top 20%, because they're bringing you 80% of your business now, and they're going to be 80% when this is over. All right, step 9, we're getting there. Step 10, you may have to change your business model. Be proactive. We got to adapt. We got to look for opportunities. Now, I'm having a lot of conversations with people right now about how to pivot. And for some people, we do need to pivot. We need to make a hard pivot. I was talking to a local business whose his whole clientele is restaurants and event spaces, and he had to make a pivot on what the information that he was putting out to these people and becoming a resource to them and like a communication center. It's starting to work now for him. Now, what we're looking for is small changes. We're looking for, I'd rather have a 1% change 100 times. So we need to adapt little by little by little by little. We don't necessarily need to change our business model overnight. For some of you do, but for a lot of us, we just need to adapt. Hey, if you think that this is this is going to just end one day, that's wrong. There's going to be Brad Sugar's my mentor and friend at ActionCOACH said that it's BC and AC. That's before coronavirus and after coronavirus. Okay, things are not going to be the same. People are going to be a little hesitant to shake your hand for a while, even after they say it's okay. People are going to continue to keep distance. If you think this is over and going to end, we're going to have to change our business model a bit. Okay, we may have to make, if you're doing live events or a live space, you may have to make the chairs 4 or 5 feet apart or something. I don't know what we're going to do. I don't know what people are going to demand yet. I just know we're going to have to make small changes to get there. All right. So make your business model better now. You know, whatever you're doing now, this should make it better. Mine's going to be way better. I mean, I'm learning so much about the technology and how I can do more and be in better contact and sit in my office and have a great video conversation with my clients. It's just wonderful. I was doing it anyway, but I wasn't doing it to the extent I needed to do. Okay. This is the formula for change. If you need to know what the formula for change, so dissatisfaction, that's your D, times your vision, which is your V, okay? You multiply those together, plus your first steps, that's your F, have got to be greater than resistance. Well, right now, resistance to change is pretty low because people have to change. There's a lot of things they're going to have to change. They have to make those pivots. The dissatisfaction's pretty high. The vision's pretty high right now. A lot of people say, well, Bill, how can you say the vision is high? Well, the vision is high because people know they have to change. So they're looking for something different. They're looking for a better vision. And as leaders, you need to get clear on what you believe the vision moving forward is. Now, the F is the critical right now. That's the first steps, and that's going to be your 90-day plan, okay? It's going to be your 90-day plan. That's the critical thing in this formula for change. So D times V multiplied together. Plus F has got to be greater than R, but your first steps is going to be critical. People are going to be willing to change. Your clients are going to be willing to change. Your team's going to be willing. Everybody's going to be willing to change, but you got to have a plan. That's what the first steps. You know, I think the advertisement, you know, plan, don't panic. That's what we're talking about here. You may have to change your products. You may have to change your services or the way you deliver your services. You may have to change your pricing. You may have to change your staffing. Everything is up for change right now. Everything is open. All right. Hey, sometimes you just have to break something and then redo it. So that's not a bad idea right now. It's a good time. People are open to it. You know, people don't want to change usually, but right now they're like, holy cow, got to change. All right. All right. Step 11, plan for 90 days. You know, if you go into business without a plan, it's like you're going to go into the wilderness without a map, and you're going to eventually get lost and starve, according to Kevin. Okay, this is a 90-day game. Focus on the next 90 days. Yesterday, usually I would do a 5-year goals, 1-year goals, 90-day goals, 3-year goals, those kinds of things. 90-day game. It's a 90-day game right now. It's all we need to focus on. What will you market and sell in the next 90 days? How will you deliver your products or services in the next 90 days? What will you charge in the next 90 days? It's about surviving first and then thriving. We're in a survival mode right now still. We're not out of that. We need to survive first, and then we need to thrive. Okay? Okay. If you need some help, you want an outside option to build a plan, we'll talk about that in a minute, but I'm happy to be available even if you just want to build ideas. If all you do is take this resource here and build your plan off of that, good for you. That's great. It'll work. But have a plan. If you don't have a solid, and I mean, it's got to be written. My business school professor of mine told me, if it's not written, it's not real. That's so true. Write your plan out. What is your 90-day plan? Okay, I can help you. I can help facilitate that. All right, this is where I'm getting a bit optimistic, but I think as business people and leaders, we need to be thinking different. All right, Warren Buffett says, hey, look, I buy when people are, you know, I don't buy when people are, everybody else is greedy, but I do buy when everybody else is fearful. Okay, so I guarantee you, you got to understand the seasons. Farmers know this. Look, summer, fall, winter, spring. Spring always follows the winter. Always, always, always. When this winter is over, we're in an economic winter right now. When it's over, it's going to be spring. Okay, we got to know that. You got to understand the seasons. Look, the stock markets are way off. I don't know what they are today. It's too early to tell, but I know people are jumping back in and making some investments now because they know they're low. There's been some good news. So look, maybe if you're an investor, then maybe it's time to start looking at that. Look, some companies, I was talking to a friend of mine in the food business, and one of his clients who is in a position to retire said, you know, I think I'm done. His company is going to be for sale, and it's going to be for sale at a discount. If you're in a space, or any of your competitors going to be up for sale. Maybe it's something you should be looking at in the long term. All right, customers. The fact is, and I don't that some people will choose to go out of business or will go out of business or will not handle this very well, and their customers are going to be up for grab. That's why we've got to continue marketing, because we have an opportunity to go buy some new customers. All right, and what I mean by that is investing in marketing to get those customers into our field. We can take care of that. Some customers are going to be out there. I know we're on step 12. I got a couple of bonus actions. So start acting now. Start looking now. Start being proactive now as business leaders. All right, step 13. I promise you this is the last one. Look, we got to be realistic. Set realistic expectations. We got to be clear with our people. Do not sugarcoat it. All right, remember these things. Over deliver on customer service. Look, be clean. Don't touch people. Respect people. People are scared. I mean, if you don't think you're going to keep the distance, well, that's not good. You've got to take care of the distance rules. Provide sanitizer, the stuff. Get the cleaning supplies you need. Put your people first. If they don't feel comfortable in a situation, put them in a situation that's going to make them more comfortable. Let them go home. Let them go wherever they can. All right? Look, be nice, remain calm, and lead through this thing. All right? And help people out. Don't go out and buy a bunch of stuff you don't need. All right? I mean, look, just buy what you need when you're out. Good. All right, let's wrap this thing up. All right, if you need some outside facilitation, I'll tell you how to do that in a minute. That's great. You can get with me. I'll even have a quick call with you. Look, and we'll work through some of the things you need to work through. All right. Look, I want you to get out a piece of paper right now. Write down 5 ideas that you got from this that I know you need to take action on now. Remember, if it's not written, it's not real. All right, let's take some questions. Let me get over here in the chat and see what's up. All right. Will we be able to get a copy of the slides? Yeah, I can do that. I'm unclear. Oh, I may not have hit record button. That's so bad. I'll record it again. I'll do that. I'll get the slides. I'll get the slides to, how about I get them to the chamber and then they can do them, or if you want to hit me up directly, let me get them to the chamber. Let me just do that this way. Okay. Thank you. That would be awesome. Brandon, thanks for that. Yeah, I forgot to hit the record button. Usually it's my first thing, but I was so excited to get on here and get this information to you. Yeah, thanks, Elizabeth, for that. What else? Yeah. Yeah, I don't have any way to unmute. I did this in a webinar. If I'd done it in a meeting, we would have been able to unmute you. I apologize. I'll do it in a meeting next time. Other questions? Come on. I know you got them. Put them out there. Let me see them. Susie says, really helpful. Thanks. Any specific suggestions for educators? Could you tell me a little bit more about your situation, Susie? Like, what kind of education? That would be useful. And then maybe I could help you. Recruiting for higher ed. What are people thinking about? Yeah, look, recruiting right now, I would be very proactive on that. Obviously, people are scared right now, but, we need to be in touch. So the educational institutions, for the most part, are shut down. But I would be in contact. But a lot of the people are available. They're not doing much. And so it's a great time to reach out and let them know you're there and be a friend and build those relationships and hopefully begin to recruit. And I think they're probably recruiting for the fall. My son is in education and he just got a new job starting in the fall. So yeah, I think you continue doing your thing. Thanks for that, Susie. Let me get the chat back up. Anything else? Either chat, you can put it in either box, apparently, the chat or the Q&A. I'm looking at both of them right now. David, how are my services structured? Paper meeting. Look, let's have a conversation offline about that. I'll give you my information and we can talk about it. I've got different ways to do it. It's usually not paper meeting. But that's a whole nother, but it's a different game. I mean, I'm up to help as many people as I can. I'm doing free, I'm doing a free coaching sessions for anybody who wants one. So we can do one for nothing. So if that's it, David, if that's your answer. Thanks for reaching out. Any other questions? See, we've got a few more minutes, so I can take them if you want them. So type in what you got. If you want to talk about something online, you don't want to talk in front of the group, that's fine. I can chat. All right. Good. Everybody's got all the answers. Look, my take on this is no one has all the answers. We've got all the questions, and we need to ask all the questions. We need to be asking great questions, and we need to do it a lot. I am going to dump out of these things here. I'm going to look. If you want to get a hold of me, I am an open book. I am ready to talk to whoever, whenever. I'm going to give you all my information. My phone number is 828-348-1787. That's in the office. If I'm not around, it's going to go to my to my assistant. Her name's Beverly, and she handles marketing and sales. And she's working remotely. I'm going to give you my cell number. It is not on this slide. It should be, and my cell number is a little different. I just left it from 8-10 years ago when I moved from Virginia, but it's 540-290-2389. You can call me on my cell phone, 540-290-2389. If you want to get a hold of me at William Gilliland at ActionCOACH.com, that would be awesome. Look, I want to talk to many people. I'm doing two things. I'm calling out and finding out what's going on. I'm being a resource by just gathering information, and then I'm also being that resource in the community. So if I can help anybody. So I'd like to leave you with one last thought. And I'm going to come on video here so you can actually see me in where I am. But, listen, I'm going to leave you with the words of who I think is the greatest coach of all time, and that's John Wooden from the UCLA Bruins. Those of you who don't follow basketball, he was, which in this state, how could you do that? Anyway, he's a he won 10 national championships. I mean, it's just phenomenal. I just have a lot of respect, and I've studied him. If you want to study a leader, he is a great leader to study. So his dad, when he graduated from essentially middle school, gave him a card, an index card, and with these things written on it, and he kept it his entire life, and he read it to himself every single day. If you want to know why he was successful, this is a great habit to pick up now. Affirmations are a great habit. So I'm going to read them to you. I think they're awesome, and I think they're good. So number one, be true to yourself. Make each day your masterpiece. Help others. Drink deeply from good books, especially the good book. Make friendship a fine art. Build a shelter against a rainy day. Pray for guidance and give thanks for your blessings every single day. So I wish all of y'all a safe and educational time here. I was going to say prosperous. I hope it will be prosperous. I think we're all going to be better for this on the other side. And if I can be of service, please reach out to me. I would love to help. Until next time, all the best.